And the last thing that I set a challenge for myself to complete was to work on this. Finish up this Lilith Hersparax, the Dark Eldar miniature, and she's mostly done. Like, I feel like there's little things I'd like to tweak. Even with the Guardians, there's still little things I'd like to tweak, but for the most part, I think we can safely say that they're done. But here on the first, let's just make a few more tweaks to this model at the very least, and then we can put a bow on it and say that she's 99% done. And actually, there's something else kind of interesting. So I was working on this last night, and I was also looking through a bunch of miniature, just a bunch of random boxes and bags of miniatures that we have. If you've been in this hobby for long enough, ultimately you're going to have a lot of, just a lot of extra stuff. And I ended up finding this. I don't know if you can see, but that is Lilith Hersparax's back spiky thing? I don't know what the official term is. But yeah, so this I thought was lost for a very long time. Like, when I decided, or actually when my Instagram followers decided that this was the next thing I should work on, it was like, okay, let's work on this. But she was missing a foot, so I kind of had to replace the foot, and I talked about that previously, and she was missing this back thing, and I had no idea where the back thing was. The foot, I'm pretty sure I lost like almost immediately once I got this miniature. I think it actually just washed down the drain at one point, stupidly enough. That was my fault. But I was like, man, this back spiky thing is somewhere. I don't know where it is. But let's just continue on working on this model and paint it as if it doesn't have it. So I kind of painted like the small gap where it should be, almost as like her bare skin. And it actually kind of works. It makes sense to me. But now that we have this, we might as well slap it on. Just goes like that. And it looks pretty cool. I don't know. In some ways, I feel like it looks better without it. But this is what the model had, so we'll go with it. And that's probably what we'll start off today's stream with. Just working on finishing up this model. So let's do that. Okay, so here's the wet palette. Sufficiently wet, sufficiently palette. And here is the red that I'll be using at least as a base coat, Mephiston red. Oh, by the way, let's take a quick detour and talk about this stuff. So as I was saying, I was rummaging through my boxes of various miniatures and storage stuff, and I found some interesting little bits and bobs. And that's just how it goes when you've been in this hobby long enough. You get to a point where you have a bunch of miniatures that you forgot you even had, or yeah, it was like they just kind of fall into your lap and you just put them in a box somewhere and forget about them. In the case of this miniature, I'm pretty sure that this was like something my brother found, maybe. But he said, like, yeah, go for it. If you want to paint that, go for it. So this is a Catachan Imperial Guardsman, Astra Militarum, as they're called now. And it's metal. And this is not my paint job. This is not like my brother's paint job. This is just some random miniature that we happened upon in like a bulk sale or something like that. Maybe something from a visit to a secondhand store. And yeah, the paint job is really weird. I feel like whoever painted this was attempting to paint it on bare metal. I don't know, that's what it kind of seems like, because the metal is showing through a lot. But then in some parts there's white, so I don't know, I really don't know what was going on with this miniature. It looks It looks really weird, but that's gonna get a dunk. That's gonna get dunked into some nail polish remover or whatever, and then we'll paint it up. I think that might be fun to do because a lot of the miniatures I've been painting have been like armored characters, but I think painting like musculature and flesh is really fun. So this is a good thing to kind of like try that out. Here's another miniature that I found just amongst the bags of random stuff. It's a assassin for the Imperial Guard. I guess, I don't know, can assassins be used for other armies? I have no idea. Vindicar assassin? I think that's a Vindicar assassin. I think if you look really closely, it says GW 1995. So this is from 1995. Unfortunately, he's missing a gun, and I'm wondering if I can do something about that. I actually have parts of a sniper rifle, which isn't exactly the same as what this assassin would use. The assassin sniper rifle, I'm sure, is much longer and longer barrel, but this might be a good starting point. This is from the Space Marine Scout model kit, very old, and this isn't something where I can just glue on the arm and then call it a day. This would require some extensive remodeling because there's two hands attached to the gun here, so that's got to go. But it's a start, and let's take a quick look here and see if we have. Here's the actual box again, found through rummaging all my stuff. Let's take a look here and see if we have a more useful arm on the frames here. Okay, if you look here, this is an arm that only has one arm holding the gun. So this is our best bet here, to use this one. And it would kind of go something like this. We'd still need to do a lot of remodeling, and that could be a job that I'm not fully prepared to do at the moment. Like, I'm not sure if I'm in the mood to do all of that resculpting and stuff. I'm not even very good at sculpting, period, so that could be something to try, at least. Again, that's just, all the random stuff that you find from being in this hobby for several years. And even though I've been out of the hobby for several years, those miniatures don't go anywhere. They just stay in a box for a day like today, until they can show up on stream again. Not again, so they can show up on a stream on the internet. Again, another random miniature. This one, another prime candidate for getting dunked into a vat of nail polish remover or some other kind of thing that's going to take away the paint job. This is one of my paint jobs. I did this obviously a long time ago when I was a teenager. I feel like the paint job is not great. I was trying to do like the geometric kind of diamond pattern on the legs here that the Harlequins often have. I don't know if I mentioned that, but this is a Harlequin model. But it just got away from me. And yeah, I think the model's pretty neat, this one. It's old, of course, but there's something kind of cool about these models. And the weapons that they use, this is some kind of crystal. I'm sure someone will correct me on it, but yeah, this is some kind of crystalline based weapon, like it shoots little crystals. And this is something else different as well. I don't think it's anything that normal Eldar troops wield, these two weapons. And the Harlequins themselves are a very unique unit, very unique army troop type. I kind of wish I had more. There was also Harlequins that rode on jet bikes, and the jet bikes had the face of like the laughing god on like the front of the bike, and I thought that was really cool, and it was all metal. But yeah, that's long gone now. I don't know if the modern Harlequins have a similar jet bike. I kind of hope they do, because that's cool. This is why I like the Eldar models. They're just really weird. They have like they're recognizably humanoid. They aren't humans exactly, but they have, you know, they they more or less look like humans, except for like maybe elongated features and the pointy ears. But aside from that, like they're just so weird, right? And they have things that are recognizably part of our human history, things like harlequins and like the laughing mask and jesters and stuff, but it's turned into this weird alien thing that's very different. So yeah, harlequin. So again, something that I might dunk into the vat. And this here is also really interesting. Another just real interesting find. This was something that I'm pretty sure we ordered from Games Workshop mail order without even really having a specific purpose for it. It's a giant skull with chains around it, presumably a dragon skull. But this was intended for Man of War, which was like a very smaller scale battle game that was set on the high seas. So it was like all ships and stuff fighting each other. And yeah, I'm guessing that this belonged to Chaos or Orcs or something, and it would have been like a part of a ship. But in the context of Warhammer or Age of Sigmar or 40k, there's tons of uses for this. I could see this being used for a bunch of stuff, but I just wanted to take it out because it looked really cool. I'm sure I'll think of something for this someday. Yeah, just a quick look at some other random models that I've found while I was looking for this thing. Yeah. So yeah, just that's about it for that.